want to talk about one little aspect of our current ascension process, and that is about the limitless potential of human consciousness. Now, in the past, the idea of an expanded human consciousness was very centered in the brain. And my argument is that the real shift in human consciousness to being more and more unlimited is the same as kind of shifting from the idea of a hard drive to the cloud. So the brain in this analogy is the hard drive. The brain is a mechanism that we have in our body, an organ in our body that computes and stores information, perhaps, and that we judge ourselves to be intelligent or not intelligent or whatever. With basically the idea is it's all about the brain. But what if it's actually not all about the brain? What if it's actually about the cloud? What if intelligence is held elsewhere? What if the brain does not originate the intelligence and it does not necessarily store that much information? But it's our interface with the cloud. When we think of it that way, it kind of changes everything. Now, the leap would be, well, where the hell is this cloud and how are things stored there? And that's something that people don't necessarily understand yet. I'm not claiming to understand it. But we can think of it as a kind of universal consciousness that we tap into, and that maybe the degree that we can tap into it and the kind of information we can get in it depends on our level of personal and spiritual evolution. So I want to think of it as that all of the limitless possibilities of human consciousness are now about transcending this image of the hard drive, the brain, and identifying as these people that are connected to the cloud. Now, for example, I speak 4 languages. The best one that I speak, the one I'm most proficient at, is Swedish. And I don't speak Swedish more than an average of 1 minute a year. And so a few years ago, actually many years ago, now it's 8 years ago, I went to Sweden for the first time in 30 years. And I really didn't know how that was going to work out. I used to be very fluent in Swedish. And, I was kind of like an idiot savant of Swedish, I like to joke. And when I went there, I met up with the couple who were the parents, my foreign exchange parents, when I was an exchange student a long, long time ago. And when they met me, they started speaking English, just figuring that I had forgotten Swedish. And I said, no, we can speak Swedish. And so we sat down and we hung out and spoke Swedish for like 5 or 6 hours. Had lunch, whatever. And it came up like, where is this Swedish stored in my brain for 30 years, barely utilized at all, Sure, it got a little rusty. I've forgotten some vocabulary. My pronunciation isn't as perfect as it used to be, but it's still very fluent. And so, where the hell is that? Where is that sitting? Well, I think it's in the cloud. It's not stored in my brain on a physical level. It's stored in the cloud, whatever the hell that means, and somehow I access it. And maybe that's where all of our memories are stored. And maybe that's where all the wisdom of the universe is stored. And some people call it Akashic Records, for example, where you can tap into any information in the universe. I think the next level of consciousness expansion for humans is to explore this cloud, to see what's in there, to see if maybe there's information in the cloud that we never thought existed, that we never even imagined. They talk about the burning of the Library of Alexandria in Egypt, and how all of this information about our ancient past was wiped out. Well, what if that ancient information is still existing in the cloud? What if we can access any information imaginable once we get access to the cloud? So how do we get access to the cloud? Starting off by realizing we're already doing it. By realizing that our memories are held there. Once we realize how we're already doing it, then maybe we can expand that ability out into doing it even more. Meditation is, to me, obviously going to be one method of accessing the cloud. And there's probably going to be other ones. Maybe psychedelics open the door, but they can't be the technique to access the cloud at all times. That'd be a little tough. That every time you want to do that, you got to do psychedelics. I don't think that's going to work out too well. But it might be the baby steps phase of the game. So anyway, consciousness is held in the cloud. And this is the next step, or part of the next step, of our consciousness evolution as humans. So I think it's going to be a really fun exploration. It's going to take everything that we've developed through the intellect into a complete quantum leap. Really exciting. And I think we're on the verge of it now. We'll see.